Manchester United have already signed Mason Mount and Andre Onana this summer, but you know, I know, every United fan knows the striker was the priority. Now, Rasmus Hojlund, I've done a full story video looking at his transfer to United back at the start of June, but a lot's happened since, and a lot of developments have happened. What I'm going to do is chronologically run you through all of those, bring you bang up to date, and also we need to talk about Harry Kane, because there is a big decision I think that Manchester United and Erik ten Hag have to make. So make sure, if you can, please drop a like on the video. Quite a few of you have since we had that little competition and giveaway early this week. Sod it, let's do it again. If we can hit 5,000 likes on this one, I'll give away another home shirt. If you can help the community, I'll give back. Let's run through it. As I said, I covered this back at the start of June, when he emerged as an alternative target to Harry Kane. Now, if you really want to go far back, you obviously, he's only been at Atalanta for one season. You know, it was a good signing that they made from Sturm Graz, what, 17 million euros there. And now they want to try and sell him for what, 70, 80? Not, geez, even 100 million is what the Athletic was saying at one point. But this is how the story has sort of developed across the course of the summer. Right. Earlier this season, he appointed SEG, and that's the same agency representatives as Erik ten Hag, which has really helped United in these sort of negotiations and conversations that have been happening thus far. Because, of course, we've agreed personal terms already. We go through here. This is what he said about United himself previously. United, it's a huge club. I must have done something right if it says that they want me. My goal is to reach a top shelf, and you can say that about Manchester United. And this is when was this? 14th of June. Just a little bit after I did that full story on him. Hojlund is one of the main names on that alternative Kane list. He's basically been the name the whole way through. There were separate reports of, 35 million euro. Just weird reports coming out from Italy that Fabrizio Romano sort of said, no, hold on. No, United are not doing that. But of course, it's accelerated to this point now. The Manchester United are preparing their opening bid for Rasmus Hojlund. Personal terms 100% agreed. 65 to 70 million euros is the price that we've been seeing there. Atalanta's manager tried to hype it up, said, no, look, 80, 90, 100 mil. Okie dokie. He's just trying to hype up the price. And said this, look, sometimes there are choices to make, and also agents. We have to consider the financial factor. And that's where David Ornstein came in with this. Fabrizio Romano previously said that personal terms have been agreed, and David Ornstein corroborated that. United have agreed personal terms with Hojlund, right? That's not the issue. The issue is that opening bid, which is where we are at now. Manchester United remain focused on Rasmus Hojlund. The opening bid is coming this week. That's what we're expecting. Now, if we take over a look, this is Alfredo Padula, who I think he works for Sport Italia. Is that the same place? No, it's not the same place that Damasio works for. But because he was pretty spot on with the Onana transfer, I think he's earned his stripes, and I'm going to take a look at what he's saying over the Rasmus Hojlund situation from the Italian perspective. He's saying this, that Rasmus is Ten Hag's first choice alternative to Harry Kane. And look, the salary's already agreed there, 4.5 million euros plus bonuses. He's saying that the fee has to be in excess of 60 million, but then goes on to say here that they want more than that. That they're using the transfer of Vlahovic to Juve as the sort of the yardstick, the marker. Said, right, okay, this is how much they, even though that I think he scored like 20, 30 goals for Fiorentina that year. Hojlund's only scored 9 last year for Atalanta, so it's not, and he was also 2 years older, more developed. It's not really the fairest of comparisons, but it's a comparison which apparently Atalanta are using, so that's why they want, look, Vlahovic was sold for 80 million in total, 70 plus 10, and they're down there wanting a base of 65 million plus 9 to 10 in bonuses, which is a lot of money. And then we see James Ducker, we come back to the British press, James Ducker from the Telegraph saying, look, Manchester United are sort of unwilling to negotiate on that fee. We go down and we read that a little bit more. Manchester United are unwilling to pay more than 60 million for Rasmus Hojlund as they wrestle with tight financial constraints governing spending. United are in talks. Ten Hag has other targets, and look at the targets they're named as here. We know that Moani, as been said before, I think Kudos has been linked-ish, but Kudos is not a striker in any way, shape or form. But you can see here how the story has developed. The full story of United going after Hojlund. It started after we pulled out of the Kane transfer. And that's where this kind of comes full circle, where I think we need to have a conversation. And certainly United need to have a conversation, because Harry Kane, we went after him early this season. We go back here. This is the 29th of April. The Harry Kane was Manchester United's priority signing. He was always number one. That's who Erik ten Hag wanted to sign. However, Spurs said they would not sell to a Premier League rival. I'm sure they might have said something similar about Dimitar Berbatov, and maybe something similar about Michael Carrick as well. They have done it before, and they probably would do it again, but maybe it's a bit different with the Harry Kane situation. And then we're now seeing reports of this, that Daniel Levy's being told by Spurs' actual owner, Joe Lewis, that Harry Kane needs to be sold this summer if he won't sign that new contract. Now, we've obviously seen reports of Spurs offering Harry Kane 400 grand a week. It's a lot, of course. It's a lot. To stay and sign a new contract. And the beginning of this new Postecoglou era, it might work out. It might be just as good as Poch was. Yeah, but they're at the beginning of that era, and it's going to take a while for them to get there. So, I don't know what's going on with this Harry Kane situation, but for me, it forces a big decision on Manchester United. This lad here, Rasmus Hojlund, is the top priority if United can't sign Harry Kane. Sorry. But if United can sign Harry Kane, and Harry Kane needs to be sold, what do you think United should do? Because I just find this is surely a really tricky situation for United Ten Hag to be in. Because on the one hand, you've got a player here that United don't want to overpay for, right? We go back here. United don't want to overpay for Rasmus Hojlund. Personal terms are already agreed. That's already in the bag. And the fact that he switched, we go back to this one here. Look at that. The fact that he switched the same agent as Erik ten Hag, well, same agency, that helped. But personal terms are agreed. It's all about the fee, right? It's all about that fee. Now, if Manchester, this is what I mean when we've got a decision to make. A real decision to make. Because we could just sort of look at Harry Kane and go, I know how this story's going to end. Spurs are kind of going to string us along. And then he's just going to stay, or he's going to go to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, of course, they've put in 2 bids for Harry Kane. Both have been rejected. Spurs absolutely adamant that he's not being sold to a Premier League rival. But we know that money talks. That's the way of the modern game. Speaking of the way of the modern game, like, can I just point this out? PSG are probably about to sell Mbappe for 3 times the price that Ineos paid to buy Nice as a football club. And you wonder why some United fans have concerns about a Qatari takeover. Because this is the way that football's going. And in 10 years, sod knows what the game is like. Even though there's a massive part of me that accepts that that's where the game is going, there's part of me that just doesn't want to accept it and doesn't want to let it happen. But that's just pure madness. And of course, that's entitling teams like Atalanta to try and charge ridiculous money for a 20-year-old with 9 goals. But what do United do in this situation? I want you to let me know in the comments. And I genuinely think this is an interesting debate. Because we could sort of look at Kane and go, never mind. He would have been perfect, but we can't risk it. We can't risk dragging this one out for him to maybe just go Bayern Munich, for him to maybe just stay at Spurs. And then we go after Rasmus Hojlund and we get stuck in negotiations, we get locked in negotiations, and we'll find that middle ground. We found it with Mount. We found it with Onana. And I'm pretty confident that we will find it with Hojlund, a man who has already agreed personal terms, who wants to join Manchester United. But what do you think will happen? What do you think is the right thing for United to do here? That's the full story of the Hojlund situation. Do you think United should park it, go after Kane and risk missing out on Hojlund? Or do we just say, I know what you're doing, Spurs. We'd love to sign him. Maybe we'll get him on a free next year. And we go after Hojlund now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But that is the full story and the complete summary of all the developments that have happened over the last few weeks. And this week's a big week. We should be getting that first official bid in for Hojlund. How much will it be? We'll find out. But you can let me know what you think in the comments below. And as I said at the start, drop a like in the video, people. But if we get Mount, Onana, Hojlund, maybe Amrabat. Sounds like a good summer, though. Even better with Kane, though.